If life won't slow down, how do you slow your mind down before stress becomes very overwhelming? December brings a perfect storm. Family expectations, end of year goals, work deadlines, finances, travel, and holiday pressure. How do you protect your mental health, reduce anxiety, and manage stress when everything around you is moving fast, fast, very, very fast? Today, my guest, Dr. Rosalind Ceaser, is going to show us exactly how. Welcome, welcome. My name is Marian, and every week we share stories and strategies to help immigrants and busy professionals thrive in the American workplace and in life. Today, like I said, I have Dr. Ceaser, Rosalind, my friend, who will be walking us through on how to, maintain our mental health, slow down, reduce anxiety, manage stress. So, Dr. Caesar, welcome again. You are no stranger here, but can you give a short introduction about yourself and one fun fact, and we will dive in?
Okay. So thank you very much, Marianne, and thank you for having me back. Like you said, my name is Rosalind Ceaser. I am a clinical counselor. I have a private practice at home care counseling, where I see youth, families, and adults. I'm also the executive director for Lighthouse Youth and Family Services in Catonsville. So I think that is fun fact about me. Hmm. I don't know if it's fun fact, but I like working out. I like exercising. I enjoy sports. Yes. Always been a little active.
Very good, very good. Thank you, thank you. It's so important that we have this discussion at this time. Many people, like I said, and especially immigrants, carry invisible stress, family, work, finances. From your perspective, how can someone tell when normal stress has crossed into something unhealthy?
Okay. So when we think about an immigrant, the definition of an immigrant is basically somebody who has moved from their home country to another country. So that can, or another place that is not their home space. That kind of dislocation comes with a lot of losses of the structures and the supports that a person has. So, for instance, if you immigrate and it is just you who immigrated, it means that your entire family is not with you. And our family is our first source of support. Depending on the age at which you immigrate, your friends may have been left behind. So all those are factors that can contribute to stress because social support is a big part. Human beings are social and we are social animals, as they say. And so having other people is a big part of our support system. If
Mhm.
we don't have the people, it means that we don't have the resources we need to be able to function as well as we could. And so for an immigrant, just the fact that you relocated from a setting that is familiar, that has the resources, the culture, the language that you understand is stressful because you're adjusting to a whole new culture, a new set of rules for living, new set of expectations. Now, when we talk about stress, stress can be both positive or negative. So, if something good is going on in your life, it could be stress. And in psychology, it's called eustress. So, like you're having a wedding, it's a stressful period because there's a lot of work to be done, but it's a good kind of stress. Or you can have negative stress, that's distress. Somebody stole your car. You are not happy about that. It is a different kind of stress because now you have a problem, you don't have a car. So stress is basically when we talk about stress, we're talking about when there is a situation that needs to be addressed,
Okay.
and you have to marshal your body's resources, psychological and physical sometimes, to address the problem. Now, in common parlance, when we use stress, we are typically talking about where there is overload of your resources. So when we say somebody's stressed out, we are saying that the person's at a point where, yeah, we can tell that they are not coping well with whatever is going
Mhm.
on. So if you are coping with a situation, it could be stress, but you are not overwhelmed.
Mhm.
When we are overwhelmed by the things we have to handle, that is when we become concerned. So um, in that sense, for our brain, when we have things going on, problems to solve, and they are complicated, it's almost like my brain says, I'm under attack. Okay, something is coming at me. I need to address it. And the body has a mechanism for addressing stress. Typically, we call it the fight or flight response. And there are different nuances to it. There's freeze, there's fawn. But the idea is that whenever I'm faced with a problem or any situation, my brain will go into a mode to say, can I handle this? Can I take this on? What do I do? Is this something I have to avoid? Is this something I have to run away from? Is this something I have to take on? And it will deploy all the hormones and the neurotransmitters that I need to prepare me for addressing it. So when it is an issue that I have to handle, my body gets into that state. It doesn't matter whether it's a physical attack, whether it is a mental threat. It does not matter, but my brain interprets it as something is going on that could potentially be harmful. I need to respond, and it will go into that mode. Now, what happens is that under normal circumstances, we are supposed to live where stress and relaxation is cyclical. So for something happens, and I need to marshal my resources. So let's say if we go back to the caveman days, okay, a lion was chasing me. Okay, in that moment, my brain marshals my resources, my muscles get pumped up, blood goes to my muscles, my heart pumps. I'm able to either run from that lion or attack that lion, fight with it, kill it, and it is supposed to end. So I get a period of rest after that to recover from all those hormones, because our body cannot really cope with high levels of stress hormones. Yes, because the stress hormones, they affect our muscles, they affect our gut system, our gastrointestinal system. So it is not ideal for us to be constantly in that state. It has negative effects on our bodies. So in the natural world, it's supposed to happen that I have a stressful situation, my sympathetic nervous system kicks in, I get into fight or flight mode, and then I deal with the problem, either by running away, fighting, pretending I'm dead, freezing, something. The problem goes away. Then the parasympathetic nervous system kicks in and my body relaxes. All the stress hormones are reabsorbed and I come back to normal for a period. And then maybe the baby grows up and then it comes up. Unfortunately, in our world today, depending on what's going on and what time, you could be in a state of constant stress. That is not healthy for us. And how do you know if you're in a state of constant stress?
Yes.
When you find that you are restless all the time. And for some people, it means that they literally are walking up and down, they are moving, they are jittery, and they can't sit still. Their heart seems to be beating all the time. It's like they can feel their heart beating, their blood pressure is going up. They just feel worked up, whether or not they know what is bothering them. Because our muscles prepare us for physical handling of whatever is causing the stressful situation, it means that you get tense. Your muscles are tense all the time. And you may find that you feel fatigued, even though you're not doing anything, because you are carrying tension in your muscles. So that's another sign that you are too stressed out, or you are overstressed, or that you are not recovering from your stress, because all these are going on. You could have difficulty sleeping because you are thinking too much. You can't turn off, in a certain sense, you're problem solving. And so it's going on all the time. Unfortunately, for some people, it's not just the problem solving they can't turn off. They are not even problem solving, they are worrying. And I tell the difference, I like to say the difference between worry and problem solving is that problem solving is actually thinking about the thing to the point where you have a solution. When you are thinking about the thing and the problem keeps getting bigger, and the outcomes keep looking worse, that is worry. That's not problem solving. So when you catch yourself in those kinds of cycles, you need to realize that, okay, something is going out of control. I need to stop here. I need to reset because the stress is overwhelming me.
Whoa. You have said a lot. I'm not really sure where to. Okay, where do I start? Because I want you to go and address that December thing because we don't want anyone to get into this stage. You said if you are having the restlessness, you are jittery, rapid heartbeat, waked up, tense, carrying tension, sleeplessness, no turning off. I know what you're talking about. You go to bed and the question or whatever you're trying to the point that becomes worry, yeah. And so help us, help us, help us, help us, help us. I'm an immigrant, you're an immigrant. We have come and I talk about it in my book, Breaking Through the Immigrants Handbook for Thriving in the Workplace. I talk about the losses, social loss, financial loss,
Yeah.
emotional loss. It's a whole lot. Now it's December. Family is not here. Work deadlines, money issues, or maybe not money issue, but gifts. I mean, there are so many things going on. How can we avoid getting into this big state? I mean, the things you talked about, I'm sure you as our listener, you can identify with one or two of the things. Just help us to get out of that rut. And thank you for also explaining that it's cycles. You can't always be in that relaxed state. It's not even life, right? You go
Yeah.
through the positive stress, the negative stress. Really good stuff. Please help us to get out of that hole if possible.
Okay. So as the holiday seasons are coming up,
Yes.
it gets very stressful. And in some things as simple as finding a parking space in the shopping center could become a thing where somebody ends up getting in fights and getting arrested just because they're trying to find a parking space in the mall. Okay, we don't need to get to that point. It is not necessary. We can manage our holidays so that we can come through it without undue stress. Okay, so the first thing I will say is that the holidays tend to be stressful because people tend to associate the holidays with family, being with loved ones, showing love, appreciation. Because for Christians, they may think of it as the Christmas, but for the rest of the world who are not necessarily Christians, it's the end of the year. And people see it as an opportunity to show appreciation for those who have helped them throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot is vested into that period.
Mm-hmm.
So, irrespective of a person's faith or their background or their culture, they may think of the end of the year as a time to celebrate. Now, of course, when we celebrate, who do we celebrate with? We celebrate with our friends and our loved ones. So, if, let's say, you're an immigrant who has moved from your country, from your home, and are in a place where you don't have family, you don't have loved ones, then you are absolutely going to feel that loneliness.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody to celebrate with. And what is a party if there's nobody there to party with you? Yes. So that's a big one. That separation from the people we care about, that we would share good things and good experiences with, it is a source of stress. Now that's one kind of stress. There is the other kind of stress where a person they may be surrounded by family because they have family, they have friends, they have been here in this country long enough that they have built that
Network. Network.
enclave, that
Community
network,
network.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
that community. Okay, and then we come to the issue of, like you're saying, gift giving. Now, you may come from a culture where gift giving to all and sundry is not part of what you do. You give gifts very intentionally to people who have been made meaningful contributions to your life.
Yes.
Okay. But in this culture, the expectation seems almost to be you give a gift to everybody within vision. Okay. We need to think about how much social pressure we are taking on and expectations we are taking on that are not our expectations. Is it authentic to you? Is it really what you would like to do, to give a gift to everybody in sight? Or would you rather give gifts to very specific people who have been meaningful to you in that year? A lot of the fighting and that goes on, and the health running helter skelter, getting stressed out, is because we are trying to find gifts for so many different people. And for people who are natural gift givers, they want to find a gift that is meaningful to the person they're giving it to. Those who are not natural gift givers, they'll give everybody a gift card, go find something you want. But for people who are natural gift givers, they want to give you something that's meaningful to you. So that becomes a burden for them, because now they are thinking about, last 2 years I gave you that one, last 3 years. So this year I'm trying to find something that's different. And now they have to add that to their headaches. Okay. So we need to pause in the midst of all this sometimes and ask ourselves, what is my priority here? What am I trying to accomplish at this point? And is there another way of accomplishing it without buying them all out? Could you write a letter to somebody to let them know what they have meant to you in that year? Could you invite somebody for a meal? The very simple things people do. I mean, like there are people who will create a ticket, or like a, how do I call it? Not a ticket, but like an invite, and say that, okay, for this, I'm invite you, this ticket entitles you to one dinner with me. I will prepare it, come to my house in the course of the day, we will arrange the time. That's the gift. That means that I can give you a ticket and we can have the dinner next September, when it is convenient for both of us and neither of us is stressed out. So that instead of running around trying to buy gifts, which people probably don't need anyway, we could save the money and give gifts to people who need the gifts we give them, and we are not stressed out. And talking about all this buying again, then we come to the financial stress. I heard once before that it takes, like, America as a country takes like 6 months from Christmas to pay back all the debt from spending at Christmas. So why are we spending 6 months worth of our lives on gifts for a 1 week period? If you put it that way, then it really sounds a little crazy. But that's what it means. If it takes the country 6 months to pay back Christmas gift debt, it means that we are spending 6 months of our life in 1 week. That is putting a lot. So basically, you are trying to live off of 6 months worth of your income because you spend 6 months of it. That right there is stress. It means you're living off of very little. So we need to reprioritize and think about the holidays. It's a time for us to get together, to hang out with friends, family, loved ones. But do we have to do it at the cost of our health and well-being because we are trying to get a gift for everybody? Now, for people who don't have friends, loved ones around, it means that the task becomes for you to figure out how to develop a social network. You need to develop a new social network, and not only because of the holidays, but because it is essential for your survival. Like I mentioned before, we are social animals. And if you have watched anything about animals, the animal kingdom, the animal who is the struggler, who falls outside of the group, is the one who gets picked out by predators. Yes. So we need that support to keep us safe, mentally, physically, and in every sense of it. So if you are somebody who is an immigrant, and so as a result, you have been separated from your family, your friends, your loved ones, the people you know, I will encourage you, think about how to develop a new social network, a new system. You may have to go out to activities that you normally would not attend, that you're not used to, but that's the way you're going to meet other people. Think about the things you like to do. Where do they happen? Go there. I recognize that some people who have social anxiety and it's difficult for them to walk into a place where they don't know anybody. But I like to joke that in the penguins of Madagascar, they sit at the beach and they say, smile and wave, boys, smile and wave. And really, in most social situations, all you have to do is get there and you just smile and wave. If you get there, you smile, you say hi, somebody's going to talk to you. And you never know where that conversation will end. But just being around those people will help you. And that is how we build a social network.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking at my notes. Pause. And right now, we can all pause. Taking a deep breath. December is not meant to stress you out. Christmas is not meant to stress you out. You said it in many ways. It's meant for family to get together, to reflect over the year. But I'm just going to read out some of the things that you said. Pause, reprioritize. And in the pause, you can ask yourself, what am I trying to accomplish? Is it authentic to me? Is there another way to do the same thing? Be authentic, be creative, develop a social network if you don't have one. And then within the social network, if you are very much an introvert, you can do that. Smile and wave. This is so good. And as you were talking, I was thinking, okay, if you are being creative, you are reprioritizing the thing you said earlier on about finding finding a spot at the parking lot fight and all those things, they would all end, right? Because you are reprioritizing and thinking through what you want to do. Dr. Ceaser, this has been very powerful. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your heart. But before we go, can you mention your practice so that anyone who wants to see you, and we will put it in the description, but can you say it out loud?
So my practice is called Ahomka Counseling. My website is www.ahomkacounseling.com. It's AHOMKACOUNSELING.com. And
.com.
Ahomka, by the way, is the Ghanaian and a Akan word that means well-being. So our goal is to promote well-being of our clients.
Very good. And we will put it in the description. This has been powerful. Once again, thank you for sharing your wisdom and your heart. To everyone watching, remember, there are a few practical steps that she has provided us that you can use to protect your sanity, protect your well-being during this season. And don't forget to watch our other videos on emotional intelligence and psychological safety. Dr. Ceaser will see you again in our next video. Bye, everyone. We will see you also again in our next video because we have a series for this whole month of December. Thank you. Thank you, Rosalind, for joining us today.